Here's an article about how the Koch brothers, which Trump repeatedly on the campaign trail in 2015 and 2016 went after, have stacked his cabinet full of their buddies. Trumpy is all about it. This article was submitted by Patreon supporter Tim Stack. Tim, thank you so much. You've been supporting the show since day one, and I really appreciate it. So this article is from the International Business Times, and it's funny, they keep referring, the one part of this article I don't agree with, they keep referring to the Koch brothers as libertarians, and how they give these giant endowments to universities, and then they stack the heads of these universities with their guys. They're not libertarians, International Business Times. They're greedy, evil capitalists. They're not, don't stain the name of libertarians with the Koch brothers, please. So I want to go into it. It's so funny. It just shows more of how Trump's nonsense of, I'm going to drain the swamp and all this other stuff. And it was these type of tweets that sort of resonated with people who were sort of working class, this is my guess of it, and who were like, yeah, we're sick of the system. You know, we want an outsider. And Trump would say stuff like this, right? He said in July 2015, Trump tweeted that the Koch brothers cannot influence Trump, right? Or in November of 2015, when he tweeted that Charles Koch was looking for a new puppet after Scott Walker and Jeb Bush's campaigns failed. Or February 16, when Trump repeated his puppet claims in the context of Marco Rubio, right? But I don't know if you knew this. Mike Pence, Koch brothers guy. You knew it. You knew when Trump picked Pence. I remember going, oh, the Republicans picked this guy. This is not Trump's guy. Trump would pick some real wingnut guy or a lackey, and I was like, Pence is a Republican guy, and the Republicans are run by the Koch brothers, so of course Mike Pence is the Koch guy. So now I'm going to go into some of these the statistics here of all of the Koch brother people, and then also the specific Koch appointees in high-level positions at major universities, and how they're just, and I've talked about this. So Chris Hedges puts in Death of the Liberal Class, higher education. So public schools at the K through 12 level have been, they're gutted and they're not very good, and they don't teach you how to be a free thinker. They teach you how to be an employee and a consumer. And then higher education, where it's really important to learn how to have critical thinking and debate and all that kind of stuff, that slowly has been eroded for decades, to where now you're just a really good, like, Wall Street or hedge fund manager. That's what you come out of college with. You really can't wait to work for the corporate media or be a neoliberal or whatever. So these are all the offices that they've put the Koch-funded Koch people under Trump have earned posts in the budget office's regulatory department, the Department of Labor, the EPA, and the Renewable Energy Office in the Department of Energy, among other agencies, while others are special assistants advising the president on healthcare policy and energy issues, of course. Because the Koch brothers, if you don't know, they are a conglomerate of oil and chemical companies. They are crazy, crazy rich billionaires. But they're not libertarians. Their grandfather was a Nazi. Yeah. So a new report from the Progressive Consumer Advocate Public Citizen identifies 44 Trump administration officials who have close ties to the Koch brothers and their network of political groups. Many come from Koch Industries, Koch-funded political organizations, and independent think tanks financed by the Kochs, like the Cato Institute and the Texas Public Policy Foundation. Remember those words. Cato Institute, Texas Public Policy Foundation. Koch brother places. Think tank. So it's a tank to get you to think like the Koch brothers. Still others, including additional officials identified. Don't be weird, Internet. The Additional officials identified by International Business Times are academics who have either taught or studied at heavily Koch-backed programs at the public George Mason University in Virginia. Oh, George Mason University. Koch brother you. Since the 70s, the Kochs have considered higher education the foundation of their structure of social change. So they've been working on this since the 70s. Hedges talks about the 4 decades long corporate coup. So anybody who's like, I don't know if I want to resist, I don't know, dig your feet in, buckle up to fight these people for decades. Because that's what it's going to, that's it. They've been planning this since the 70s. This is like their utopia now, this corporate utopia where the environment is fucked and poor people are everywhere and they have more private jets than they know what to do with. Like, they just think this world is amazing. Bernie Sanders on Twitter, funny, he released a video, an interview of like progressive millionaires who are sitting there just using simple economics going, if we increase wages, it's better for the economy. The person that's making a good wage, $15, $20 an hour or more versus $9 an hour, that person has money. And they say stuff like, well, that person can come home and buy flowers for their family's dinner table once a week and enriching their kids' lives. That person can go out to eat. That person can buy gifts versus just pay their bills, just barely get by. These millionaires are saying it. So there's millionaires out there that get it, that understand this is a consumer economy. And if people they're busting their ass to only pay their bills, nobody's buying anything. We're not manufacturing anything. Koch brothers don't give a shit because they're assholes. The Koch brothers are assholes. Richard Fink, the Koch's close lifelong associate, said that higher education can provide the, quote, intellectual raw materials, quote, that think tanks can then repackage into policy ideas. Then, finally, advocacy groups can turn these ideas into distinct proposals that the public can understand and then rally those people to push for policy change. The Charles Koch Foundation have given hundreds of millions, and other of their Koch foundations have given hundreds of millions of dollars to colleges and universities to further their libertarian ideology. It's not libertarian, IBT. I know you can't badmouth capitalism on your, you're a business thing, but this is capitalism. This is rampant, fucking drug-fueled, crazy, meth head, wingnut capitalism. Like, imagine just a crazy meth head, sniffing glue with guns. That's what this unregulated capitalism looks like. So let me go into some of the Koch-sponsored academics in the Trump administration. William Beach, who was vice president of policy research at the Mercatus Center, which is a Koch brothers thing, will begin a 4-year term as commissioner of labor statistics. Well, those won't be altered at all. So no matter what happens, Trump's going to go, I brought jobs, I made America great, the best ever of all of the statistics. That's what this jackwagon's going to do. Beach was president of the Institute for Humane Studies, another free market think tank. Humane Studies, oh God. John Graham, the dean of the School of Public and Environmental Affairs at Indiana University, was recently named to the EPA's Science Advisory Board. At Indiana, he was supporting funding from the Koch Foundation and recently had a doctoral statement, who earned both Mercatus and IHS fellowships. Oh. Earlier in his career, John Graham founded the Harvard Center for Risk Analysis, which received funding from the Koch Foundation, along with other fossil fuel interests and tobacco companies. If you watch the movie The Inside Job, it came out in 2010, that talks about the 2008 meltdown. It shows these people at these big universities who've all been paid off. Oh. Naomi Rail was named Regulatory Czar, the administrator of the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs within the Office of Management and Budget in July, where she is helping the Trump administration with its deregulatory agenda at George Mason University. She was a law professor and founder of the Law School Center. So she's teaching young law students to go out and deregulate everything so billionaires can profit and the 99%ers can get bullshit. There was a George Mason University the law school got a recent $10 million Koch Foundation donation. Jesus. Brian Blass was named Special Assistant to the President on Healthcare Policy. Oh, this asshole. He's another George Mason guy, and he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, obviously. Daniel Simmons, he's an opponent of renewable energy, has been the acting assistant secretary of the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy. He's against renewable energy. He's in the renewable energy office. Makes great sense. These assholes will stop at nothing. Nathan Alexander Sales, and there's this long list of these Koch assholes, which is just so. How are they able to do it? Universities are, money's tight. Tuition is already through the roof. So big foundations give them checks and they will do their bidding. And this is what they're teaching. This is how they're shaping young minds to just be deregulatory, pro-oil, anti-green energy, ruin the world jackasses. So thank you, Tim Stack, for showing this article. International Business Times. Let's get rid of libertarian and put in ugly, evil capitalist. That's the only problem with this article that I see. Maybe there's other ones. But it's in the show notes below. Don't forget December 17th out in San Bernardino. Get tickets at grahamelwood.com or join the $20 Patreon level. If you join this month before the 17th, I will give you tickets to the 17th show before you even card gets charged, because that's the deal with Patreon. If you're not familiar with it, if you pledge like today in December, you won't get charged till the 1st of next month, and then you'll get your rewards. But at that $20 tier only, if you pledge at the $20 tier, I'll get you to 2 tickets to this show December 17th out in San Bernardino. If you're in the Southern California and you want to come to see this live TV taping, I'll do that if you do the $20 tier. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. There's a bunch of free ways to support the show. If you're going to do your Christmas shopping, please use the Amazon affiliate link that is below in the show notes. And share the videos. Positive reviews on the iTunes if you're listening. So thank you so much.